In this video, I'm going to reveal the secret behind the illusory and seemingly impossible body split performed by Rob Lakes. Before we begin, let's briefly recap what happened in that performance. The magician initially stands at the center of the stage, while his assistant points a laser at his waist, creating the illusion that he's being cut in half. Then a chain descends from above, which he grabs with both hands, and suddenly his torso appears to be separated from his legs. His legs then begin to walk freely across the stage, giving the impression that they are acting independently. In the end, the legs return to their original position and his body comes back together as a single piece, thus completing the illusion. But how is it possible for Rob to perform this trick without resorting to traditional methods such as hiding in boxes or using movements beneath the stage? The answer, which I'll reveal now, is far more surprising and subtle. Stay with us until the end of the video, but first, give us a like and subscribe to see more content like this. Magic always has secrets, and today I'm going to reveal one that very few would suspect. The key is that Rob Lakes does not use the conventional methods we all know in illusionism. There is a very elaborate strategy that combines technology, visual effects, and a clever use of the stage to create this striking illusion. First, let's note that in the world of illusionism, there is a very well-known reference that can help us understand how this type of effect is achieved. It's the famous Illusion by Kevin James, in which his assistant appears to be cut in half, and the upper part of her torso is completely separated from her legs, floating in mid-air on the stage. In that trick, the key is that the assistant actually has no lower body. She is an amputee who has been prepared for that illusion. But in Rob Lake's case, he is not a person without legs, nor is he an amputee assistant. So how is it possible for us to see his entire body and at the same time create the impression that it splits in two? What's going on? One possible hypothesis that many people might initially consider is that Rob could be bending his knees so they aren't visible, as Xavier did in one of his famous illusions. But when we observe Rob's performance, we can see that this explanation doesn't quite fit. In Xavier's case, he is lying on the ground, supported by a surface that helps him maintain that position. In addition, in his trick there is a metal plate beneath him that helps keep his knees bent and hides any visual clues. However, in Rob's performance, there is no sign that he is in that position, much less lying on the ground. Another important clue is that if Rob really had his legs bent or hidden in some way, there would be a concealed bulge in his abdomen or chest that would be evident in closer shots, but we see no indication of that. Furthermore, the way his legs appear to walk across the stage with a clearly defined thickness implies that, in reality, they are not bent or hidden in any awkward position. The conclusion is that something else is at play. A key element to consider is the difference in the appearance of the legs before and after a change in camera angle. At first, his pants look normal and aligned with his body, but after a shift in visual perspective, the legs appear different in thickness and shape. This suggests that a camera trick is probably being used, an optical technique to visually reposition those limbs and create the illusion that they are separated from the main body. This type of trick is not new in the world of illusionism, and leads us to think of a strategy that combines visual, digital or mechanical effects with stage manipulation. But here's the most interesting part: what's really behind the whole scene? The answer is that Rob uses robotic limbs, specifically mechanical bipedal legs, that allow those limbs to move autonomously and dynamically, making them appear to have no visible support or hidden structure. These robotic legs are sophisticated and designed to maintain balance and perform fluid movements as if they were a person's real legs. But there's even more. To understand how he makes his body appear complete and free of visible tricks, we have to go back in time and recall a classic magic illusion, specifically the famous illusion of a woman's stomach disappearing revealed by the masked magician. In that illusion, the upper part of the woman's body appears to disappear, but in reality she is lying in a horizontal position with the upper part hanging downward, hidden behind a wall or a specially prepared stage. The key lies in the horizontal position and how the body is concealed. If we apply that same principle to Rob's case, we can deduce that his body is also in a horizontal position, but this time on a platform that moves vertically, like an elevator, or a lift. The difference from the classic illusion is that here, Rob is not simply lying down, he is on a platform that rises and descends, hiding his legs and the rest of his body with a very special black fabric, painted with the darkest pigment in the world. This pigment absorbs almost all light, eliminating any shadows or outlines, making his body in that horizontal position visually disappear and preventing the boundaries of his limbs from being distinguished. To understand how effective this is, we can recall an experiment carried out on the Laboratorios de Acción channel, where they painted an entire room with it and placed a bright light in the center. When the light was turned off, nothing could actually be seen with the naked eye. The darkness was absolute, and any shape or figure disappeared completely. When Rob is on stage, the lighting and set are designed so that only his front side is illuminated, while everything else remains in shadow, hidden behind the black fabric and the darkness of the background. But how can this be done live, in front of a real audience, and not just in recordings or on camera? This is where another resource commonly used in illusionism comes into play: curtains. In many illusions, the magician hides behind curtains or drapes that close while he prepares for the key part of the trick. Then when the stage is ready, the curtains suddenly open, revealing the surprise or desired effect. In Rob's case, some os biaforalist true, it's very likely that he uses a similar system, where he hides in a space behind the stage and only appears when he is in position to perform the illusion. This system of curtains and moving platforms allows the magician to have everything prepared and hidden at just the right moment. In addition, in his performance on the show Penn and Teller Fool Us, a magician initially appears on stage with a low curtain and then, after giving an introduction, goes behind it, positions himself, and only then is revealed. In this way, he manages to maintain the appearance that everything happens instantly, when in reality there is a very elaborate process of preparation and concealment. Magic is full of secrets and tricks that amaze us, but in reality, most of it is the result of meticulous work, advanced technology, and a clever use of the stage. Magic is a game of lights and shadows that surprises us, but ultimately it is the result of a good idea and careful planning. Now, to fully understand how Rob Lakes manages to perform this illusion live, we must consider some key aspects of the staging and planning of the show. The first important observation is that in many public recordings, we cannot see Rob and the audience in the same shot. This suggests that many of the reactions we see in the recordings were actually captured at different times or during different performances. In other words, even though it seems like the audience is watching the same trick, the reactions may have been recorded at another moment, another show, or on a slightly different stage. This doesn't mean the illusion itself doesn't work live, but rather that the video production may have been manipulated to enhance the audience's perception. But what if Rob wanted to perform this illusion in a live show, in front of a real audience and without cuts? The key in that scenario lies in the use of curtains and hidden staging. In a live performance, Rob could use curtains to hide himself before starting the trick. For example, he enters the stage, takes the initial position, and then hides behind a curtain. From the outside, the audience cannot see what's happening behind it. Then, when he is in position, the curtain opens and he performs the illusion on the visible stage. In Rob's case, it's likely that he uses a similar structure, a curtain that covers the entire back of the stage, behind which he can prepare and position himself before performing the main part of the trick. The advantage of this is that the magician can have everything ready and in order without anyone in the audience having any idea how the effect is achieved. Another important strategy is the use of lifting platforms or vertical movement mechanisms. The platform on which Rob lies can be a kind of elevator or moving stage that rises and falls, controlled by an automated system or by assistants working in secret. When the platform rises, Rob can be lying in a horizontal position, covered by the black fabric that absorbs light and hides any contour or shape of his body. The lighting directed only toward the front prevents shadows or details from appearing that could reveal the trick. The platform can also be designed to be very quiet and fast, allowing the illusion to happen in seconds and without giving the audience time to react. And if you want to understand even more deeply how these tricks are achieved and what other similar illusions exist, feel free to leave your comment. Modern magic is full of secrets and advanced technologies that, with a bit of ingenuity, manage to amaze us day after day. If you like this video, please give us a like, subscribe to keep watching content like this, and don't forget to activate notifications so you don't miss any updates. See you next time, where we'll continue exploring the secrets behind the most incredible tricks in the world of illusionism. See you soon.